Hello everyone, today I am going to give a brief description about the circulatory system. Okay, so let us first talk about what are the components of the circulatory system. They are the heart, the blood and the blood vessels which transports oxygen and nutrients to tissues and organs and carry out the waste products from the body and the organs to help in the proper and normal functioning of the body. Okay, so now let us come to what is heart. Heart is the four-chambered conical structure which is situated in the middle of the chest, slightly towards the left. Okay. Now, it is the main organ of the circulatory system, means it is the engine of the circulatory system. It is enclosed by a double-walled membranous structure which is known as pericardium. Pericardium. Peri means periphery, around the periphery or the surrounding structure, and anything related to heart is the cardium. So, the enclosing structure which is double walled that encloses the heart, it is known as the pericardium. Out of the four chambers, the upper two chambers are known as the auricles and the lower two chambers are known as the ventricles. So, upper ones are right and left auricles, the lower ones are right and left ventricles. Now, all of these chambers contract continuously and rhythmically to pump blood throughout the body. Okay, so the continuous and the rhythmic contractions are necessary to pump the blood throughout the body in a continuous and healthy manner. Okay, so now let us come to the functions of the heart. What is the first functions of the heart? That is it pumps blood throughout the body. It supplies blood throughout the body. Okay, second function. From the right auricle to the right ventricle, the blood flows, where from the right ventricle, it flows to the lungs through the pulmonary artery, and there the exchange of gases like CO2 and O2 takes place. I repeat, from the right auricle the blood flows to the right ventricle, and from the right ventricle through the pulmonary artery the blood flows to the lungs, where the exchange of gases like O2 and CO2 takes place. Now, this oxygenated blood goes to the left auricle through the pulmonary vein, and from the left auricle to the left ventricle, where through the aorta and the arteries the blood flows throughout the body. It is circulated throughout the body. Okay. Now, there are two events in the heartbeat. Okay. So, the events are systole and diastole. When we measure a blood pressure through sphygmomanometer, with the help of sphygmomanometer we can hear two sounds. Okay, or through a stethoscope also we can hear two sounds. In a blood pressure, we see the normal blood pressure is 120 by 80 mmHg. What is 120? What is 80? The upper one, or 120, it is the systolic pressure, which is 120 mmHg. Hg means mercury. Okay, and the lower one, 80 mmHg, is known as the diastolic pressure. Now, let us come to the blood vessels, which is the second component of the circulatory system. The blood vessels are the tube-like structures through which blood flows throughout the body. Okay, so this has three types: arteries, veins and the capillaries. What are arteries? It carries oxygenated blood away from the heart. Remember, artery starts with A and away also starts with A. So, artery carries oxygenated blood away from the heart towards the organs and the tissues. Okay. Now, let us come to the veins. Veins carry of the opposite. It carries deoxygenated blood from the body and the organs towards the heart to be purified. Okay, and the valves, veins, it also contains semilunar valves for avoidance of the backflow of the blood. So, veins contain semilunar valves which prevent the backflow of the blood. Okay. Now, capillaries. Capillaries are fine tubules which are tiny links between the arteries and the veins. Okay. Now, let us come to the main component, which is the blood. In a healthy human being, there is 5 to 6 liters of blood on average. Okay. What are the components of blood? Plasma and blood cells. The plasma is a liquid component and blood cells is the solid component. Okay. So, what is the composition of plasma? It is about 55% constitution of the blood. It contains water, proteins, hormones, dissolved gases, etc. It is yellowish in color. What are the proteins that are present in plasma? We also call them plasma proteins. Those are albumin, globulin, prothrombin and fibrinogen. Now, let us come to the blood cells. we all know that the blood cells are of three types: RBC, the red blood cells, or the erythrocytes; WBC, white blood cells, or the leukocytes; the platelets, also known as the thrombocytes. The RBCs only contain the hemoglobin, which gives the reddish color of the blood. The WBC helps in the defense mechanism of the blood because they contain the neutrophils, basophils, etc., which helps in the defense mechanism if any microorganisms invade our body, which harms our body. So WBCs protect us from the microorganisms. And the main function of the platelets or the thrombocytes is clotting. In case of a minor or major cut, any kind of cut that occurs in our body, so blood oozes out from that injury. Okay, so platelets form a plaque formation or a clot over there to prevent blood loss. Okay, let us come to the functions of blood. There are many functions of blood. The main one is the transport of oxygen from the heart to the tissues and the transport of carbon dioxide from the tissues to the heart. Okay, now it also helps in the removal of waste products, metabolic waste products like urea, uric acid, creatine that are produced in the body and are toxic to the body. Blood helps in the removal of these waste products from the body. It also helps in the transport of hormones and drugs which are secreted from the glands, and the blood helps in the transport of these products to the target organs. It also helps as a storage for water, electrolytes, etc. It helps as a medium for temperature control because the metabolism that is going on in our body, it produces temperature, and blood transports the temperature towards the upper structures of the body. So it helps in the temperature maintenance. Now the blood also contains acid, it also contains hemoglobin, protein and bicarbonates, which helps in the balancing of the acid base. So it also helps in the acid base balance. It helps in the defense mechanism like I mentioned earlier, the WBCs or the leukocytes. It helps in the defense mechanism of the body, which helps our body from the invading microorganism that enters our body, like from food or water, anything we eat, and from the air we inhale, like that also. So this was my brief introduction about the circulatory system, and this was my presentation on circulatory system. Thank you so much.